How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm back to
Okay,
my
wow.
original
We're
setting.
back. We're back to the normal window there.
Yes, I've decided to bring out the background for special occasions only.
Oh,
Whatever they
okay.
are, however I determine them. So yeah, they're not gone forever, but yeah, it'll be back.
Well, it's not like I didn't like it. It just looked different after after 5 recording. All of a sudden, we came up with this background. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But
Yeah, okay. But do you notice
yeah.
something different about the background?
Well, I noticed something different in your hair. You have something.
My ears, my little headband.
Yeah, I see that. What's that?
Oh my gosh, every day something new. I don't know. I just felt like wearing them.
You just want to be different, a little different.
Yeah, I just felt
I
like
like that. I like your originality. You always have something new. That's good.
something weird
Then,
happening. I know, right?
yeah, something not weird, something new. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
We'll see what our viewers will say.
Oh
They might
gosh.
also like it.
I'll probably be told to take it off, but that's okay.
So what was new with your background? Did you I saw some drawing.
Oh, those have always been there. I was talking about this guy.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to obviously, obsess, but yeah, I put a new plant. So
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, just to brighten it up and Okay, there you go. How have you?
I'm good. So why is that? Okay, it's just a question. Is that a basement apartment you're in?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's like, why is the window there?
Oh, okay. Why is the window there? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't somebody's big. This is like an apartment, or is it a house? One of those old school homes. So it's like 4 levels.
Like triplex or fourplex?
I think so.
4 stories.
What do you mean? What's 4 stories? Is that what a fourplex is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 4 stories, and like all of us are tenants. I think the guy owns a few properties around the city and like kind of renovates them and then makes them into units.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's how it works.
No. So that's
parking.
a 1-bedroom.
It's a 1-bedroom, but it's pretty big. Yeah, it's pretty big space. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's downtown, so you don't really need parking, right? I mean, I don't know if you have a car, but
yeah,
if you live downtown,
well, you can't even find. Yeah, I mean, parking downtown is prime real estate. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
I used to live downtown Ottawa. I had a parking when I was renting. I had a parking, but I was renting my parking out to someone else who was working for the government around the area. So I used to get like 160 coming in just for renting my parking out.
Wow.
Yeah, parking is expensive.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
It's expensive.
I know. It's not even worth it anymore to own a car for that.
No. Like working from home now.
So. At this point. Anyways, how have your week been? How are you?
My week was good. I got my first shot yesterday.
What?
I know. I got Pfizer. And my arm it's like a little sore. I don't know if you had the same effect, but I can feel it. I got it last night around 8, but my arm is still like I can feel the little needle in there.
Oh,
so yeah.
Poor Trésor. It's just a small needle. You'll be okay.
I was crying all morning. I was crying because it was painful.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, so I got my first shot and it went good. And I like how it was, when you book, they give you the dates, the time and everything. They say come 10 hours, 10 minutes before. So I was, in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe there'll be a lineup or something, but it was really smooth. I went there, I waited outside for like 5 minutes, then I had to go. And it was really, really quick.
Okay.
Quick and nice. So it was well organized. So it was really good. It's not like the lines we see we used to see on TV, like people are lining up for the shots. I had that in mind. And when I got them, I'm like, okay, this is easy. it's not what I always see on like on TV, and people are just lining up, and people bring their chairs and sit and moving along. Like, what? So when I got there, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we're getting it late. That's why, like, people were rushing like ahead of time, like before. They were like, there was a lot of lineup, but now there's more vaccine shots, so there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, but there's also sort of another thing as well, obviously. So yeah, it was in the early days, so there were limitations, but also I think it was optics. And so if everybody sees this mad rush for vaccines and people who are so eager to get it line up, it's also a psychological game.
Yeah, exactly.
That we were played with. Not to say there weren't any lines, there were lines, but maybe not as many lines or as brutal as they made it to seem.
Yeah.
I mean? So
it's like in the beginning of the pandemic, people rushed to go get a toilet paper. I'm like, what's going on with these people? Like, toilet papers? I never got it. Even today, I never got that toilet paper thing. Like, out of everything you can rush to the grocery and get, you run for the toilet paper.
Exactly. It's the weirdest thing, especially when you have a shower and water at home. Like, if the paper runs out, you're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was weird. But again,
themselves. That's a problem.
Crazy things people do.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually have my second appointment coming up. So yeah.
When is it?
Next weekend, I think. I have to check again to double check the dates, but I think it's somewhere around like next weekend. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
That's
I'll be set. Like you said, I think there's a huge, like, all the doses, they have a lot of doses now. So I think anybody who wants like to get it could get it. Now it's the people who don't want it that they have to.
Yeah, now it's the people. Exactly. They have to convince those people. I don't really think, I don't know why. I mean, yeah, some people don't believe in it. Some people don't want it, but hey man, it's something, just get it and get over with it. Like, you don't need to worry about, I might get it and this and that. Obviously, at one point, there won't be any corona because people will be vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some people might get it. If they don't get vaccine, they might get it. And there will be places in the hospital where they can just go and I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder. The argument I'm
thinking at one point there will be drugs for it. There will be medicine for it. Like, just get like Tylenol for corona and something like that. It's gonna come along.
Trust the pharmaceutical companies to capitalize on what's happening.
Exactly.
You can trust them to do that. There'll be medicines, there'll be pills, there'll be, I don't know what else they can offer, but they can.
Yeah. So
the argument I've heard against people who don't want to get it isn't really because they're against vaccine. I think it's the feeling as if there's coercion around it. So feeling as if you don't have a choice in the matter, and if you don't get it, you're put in a tight spot where there isn't really a decision that you can make. So that's for people who are refusing to get it in my circle or around me, that's the argument. It's just like, well, we feel manipulated. We feel as if we don't have a choice and we're not really getting all the full information. So I think that's the main reason, but.
Yeah, but what other full information you want? Like, even if you explain to me what's in the vaccine, like you give me all the details, I'm not a doctor. I don't work in laboratory. I won't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's I'm like, okay, what else you want to know? Like, they're saying this is gonna protect you against the virus. Well, I mean, that's all I need to know. Like when I go to the doctor, the doctor say, oh, you have this he brings out this sickness name, and you need this medicine. I'm like, okay, whatever, just give it to me, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Obviously, yeah, sometimes I go on I Google, I see, okay, what is this and this and this, I look for the side effects and everything else. But hey man, sometimes it's just trust. You need to trust and go with it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sometimes just trust.
Yeah, trust, keyword.
All right, how was your week? What did you anything new with you?
No.
Again, no?
I mean, what do you want? I got a nice ego boost yesterday going for my little walk. Ego boost.
Okay, what's that?
Oh, ego boost. Basically, I was like,
I know I say ego boost, but what is it?
What was the ego boost? I don't even know if I should tell you this, but yeah, it was a strange occurrence. But I guess people are getting vaccinated and feeling more confident, or people are just happy to be out. But like in a span of like 3 hours, I had like 3 separate guys run up to me and like try and get my number. I was just like, okay, I still have it. Coronavirus has not ruined my charm.
Really?
Like,
Where were
okay.
you? Downtown or something?
Yeah, well, I live downtown, so I was downtown. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there'll be a lot of those. There'll be a lot of that now because people are just coming out now, huh?
People are
coming
coming
out.
out. They're into, but you
Yeah.
know, Toronto people aren't typically like that. So it's a bit of an unusual occurrence because I mean,
How are Toronto people? Like Toronto guys, you mean?
they don't typically like chase women down to like ask for their number or compliment them. And the guy, you know what I mean, or say something to them. I think they're more comfortable maybe approaching people in bars or maybe at the club or something like that. And less like when you're walking down the street, somebody actually.
That's the new generation. I used to chase girls at the bus station, waiting for the bus. I'm just, hey, so you're waiting for what number? You're waiting for 95? Yeah, I'm waiting for the same bus too. So where you going?
Oh, really?
Okay. I just, I stop at the next stop. Okay, so you live around the area, and that's it.
Okay. Well,
You
I
know?
don't know, but people don't typically do that. And I found that, yeah, but you know, I'm seeing maybe people have also gotten a little bit of a confidence boost, or they've just, I don't know what happened to them in quarantine.
This new generation have big egos. So they
Yeah.
don't, they don't do that anymore.
They don't like rejection. And actually,
yeah.
that made me really think about sort of being lucky that I live in a city or a country where it's okay for a guy to kind of come up to you, ask for your number or talk to you or try and get something from you, and you're going to be like, no, I'm not interested, and they're going to walk away and leave you alone. Because I've had an experience where in the US the same thing happened, and I said no, and then this guy got angry and like, threatened to like,
he got angry,
wants to beat me up, starts like calling me names, and I'm just like, but yeah. And I also read a story yesterday, it was a news article or something about, it wasn't a news article actually, it was a video I saw, but basically the same story. I think it was in the States, but some guy approached the girl, tried to get her number, and I think she said no. And then apparently they saw her and her friends saw him go to his car and pull out a gun. Yeah. I know you're just like, what? You can even register.
They run away? They
have to run away. But basically,
what is wrong with people?
Men's egos are so fragile that like you say no and some men can't take it and they want to beat you or insult you or
no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So if each girl you have to go, they have to say yes. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a guy like that and you say yes? That's it.
Oh my
God. One day you say no, you start going out with him and you say, hey, let's go for lunch. Like, nah, I don't feel good. I'm sick. Okay, I'm coming to your house. Bam, bam, shoot you.
Yeah, but it's a reality that women face. You're not a woman, so maybe, but yeah, sometimes when a guy comes up to you as a woman, you have to assess whether, okay, can I say no to this guy and still walk away and be okay with it? Or is this a kind of guy that if I say no, he might get upset? So you give him a number just to like, I don't want any trouble. You know what I'm saying?
No, really? Are you
serious? Yeah, I'm serious.
No, this is the first time I'm hearing you.
Not so much in Canada, but more in like, I don't want to point names or anything, but the US. My experience that I had was in the US, and this video I saw yesterday was also in the US. So I don't know what the difference is. I haven't experienced that in Canada for sure, never. But yeah, it's a thing.
That's sick. That's crazy.
It's crazy. Good. I'm glad.
Like when a guy, at least for me, when a guy go to when a guy go to a girl, approach a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting a yes and I'm expecting a no.
Okay.
It shouldn't hurt you because, anyways, that's crazy, to be honest with you. That's crazy.
I'm glad you agree.
There's some psychos out there. Huh? There's some psychos out there.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that this has happened to you, because for me, it's like, why? Why would you be upset if you go to a girl and she says no? It's not like you know her. She's a stranger. You just meet on the street.
Yeah.
Unless the guy was talking to you and everything. But if you're just a stranger, he just come up to you and he say, you know what? No, I have a boyfriend. I'm not interested. Hey, that's it. We can be friends, maybe. If you want to be my friend, that's good. For me, it's like, okay, next.
Next woman, please. Yeah, I don't know. I think
anyways,
most guys are different, but like some guys really have ego issues. So that's where it comes into play, where they can't handle the rejection. So.
Oh my God. Because I've been rejected so many times and I've been trying so many times. So for me, rejection is like, it's part of the game.
It's part of it. It is. That's a sensible way to look at it.
Listen, I can I can go to the club and I talk to this girl, she reject me, but I go to the next girl and she say yes right away. So that's how the game is. You can't get mad and say that, oh, she rejects me and this is it. This is the end of my life. Like, you crazy? But anyways, I understand some people are sensitive, but that's very stupid. Those people are not sensitive. They're sick.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to
that's been considered sick. That's a sickness, because
really
I can never understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
But anyways,
yeah,
that was not a topic for today. Maybe
I know,
we'll
right?
talk about relationship and everything else after.
Wait, maybe it'll come up in our little thing. Well, who knows? But yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I know.
So, okay, so let's start.
All right.
Today we are going to be talking about our central themes.
Yeah. So I think from last week we had decided that today we would, try and think about the central themes that we wanted to address with the short film, and why we think they are relevant or important in today's world. And then, maybe just point them out so that they're obvious also, so we keep them top of mind as we kind of, progress with the production and things like that. Make sure that we don't lose these themes as we get along. But also, I think before we start, we have to kind of, put a little disclaimer out there and say that we are absolutely not experts in some of these areas or topics. And, wait, what is happening with the sound?
I'm good now. Are you okay? There was a problem. It says poor connection. I don't know, is this from me or from you?
I don't see the poor connection on my side. Is it a notice that you're getting? It's your sons again. They're playing video games.
I know. They're on lunchtime. But I changed connection. I bought some Wi-Fi pods just to make my wireless connection a little bit stronger. So I just changed connection. I should be good now.
You should be okay now?
Yeah.
On the side, send me what you got, because I need to extend my connection all the way to the backyard so I can actually work there. So anyways, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Where were we? Central theme.
So yeah, central themes. You were talking about central. I didn't hear what you said. So if you can repeat, please, would be nice.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, right. So yeah, I was just basically, I guess, explaining that we want to kind of pull out and really make obvious what the central themes are that we want to address with the short film, just so so that it's obvious among viewers and things like that, but also so that we have it top of mind as we go into production and make sure that we're never losing these themes, because sometimes you start up with a strong idea or a strong thing that you want to address, and as you kind of go through the process, it gets diluted. But if you're always if you write them down, or you know what they are and you always refer back to them, you can always keep them strong throughout all the different stages, right? So exactly. That's part of the reason why we're doing it. Yeah. And I think I was also saying that we want to, put a little disclaimer, because some of these topics are, everybody will have an opinion on this. And it's kind of like, well, we're not experts or anything. And this is really just, we will be talking from our own personal experiences and observations of the world. And, we're not experts in any capacity on some of these topics.
I mean, we are talking based on our experience.
For sure.
It's good that you want to put a disclaimer, but who cares? This is our experience. We're talking about what we think it is, right? Everybody has a different opinion and different.
One of the topics is, one of the topics is race. And I know when it comes to that, there's so much sensitivity. So, I don't want no hot water.
Okay, so let's start with that. You want to start? That's the one you have. Okay, I was going through your document really quickly. I didn't spend too much time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was your idea here? What do you want to do? You want us to talk about each theme individually and see what we could put inside the document?
No, these were just kind of like talking points or questions that we can maybe want to, because it was maybe a starting point for how we talk about the themes, really. You know what I mean? So maybe we can look at some of the questions and, start on that, or I don't know. But it was kind of just like things to trigger the discussion, nothing really really crazy. Yeah.
Ordinary people is based on the concept of love triangle, which isn't specific to any race, as we know, but does it necessarily become more complicated when the issue of race is introduced, and why?
I mean, we don't have to, yeah, I know, right? Deep. It's just like, damn.
Okay.
Well, let's simplify it.
Yeah, simplify it, please.
Let's simplify it. Oh, the weather today is so horrible. It's raining like crazy.
I know it's raining here too.
Yeah.
So okay. I know you say race, okay? In the race, there's interracial and there is white privilege, okay? So can we just, based on those two bullet points, can we explain what this film will talk about in terms of interracial and white privilege? You know what I mean? So I guess what we're gonna try to do here is that, okay, race is one theme that we're gonna talk about, but in particular, we'll talk about interracial and white privilege. And in our film, we wanna showcase how white privilege is, or how, maybe we can say that we wanna focus on how white privilege affects, in good way or bad way, interracial relationships.
Oh, interesting. That's another way to look at it.
You know, we can look at it that way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, from how I sort of organized my thinking was, so interracial relationships obviously comes in, you know, because basically Ordinary People is about a love triangle. And there's two white people, there's a couple, and then there's a Black person. Now, a love triangle isn't a new thing to anybody. And it happens sort of all the time. But I'm wondering if, like, you know, what we're trying to look at is like the situation a little bit more sticky, a little bit more complicated because now there's a Black person involved. And, you know, how does that affect sort of like the triangle and the choice that needs to be made? You know what I mean? Does race sort of impact the choice that needs to be made? And is race sort of complicating the choice? Because would it be an easier choice if it was another white girl that was the option? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or is it becoming more complicated because now we're bringing in sort of like somebody of a different race and parents and like societal opinions that kind of, you know, have to be considered as well because the person is of a different race and a different culture. So that maybe complicates that as well. And when it comes to white privilege, I think I was only looking at it through sort of Kim's lens, which is Kim's character, and basically how her sort of her personality, like being spoiled, feeling as if she's entitled, and perhaps sometimes behaving in ways that aren't so savory, are almost okay or accepted, or kind of will be, you know, like if somebody watching and she's white and behaving this way might say, oh yeah, you know, she's just young, she's just immature, like brushing it aside. Whereas if it was somebody of a different race behaving in that same way, different terms would be used to describe them, as like angry Black woman, or, you know, whatever those terms are.
Why is the angry Black woman always come up? I was watching, what's the news I was watching? I was watching a news, was it CBC? And there was this Green Party, the leader of Green Party.
Oh yeah, right.
Something in the news where there was a leak of a document that was leaked, and she was, I mean, in that document, they was referring her as angry and this that. Yeah. So I didn't really understand the whole thing. I saw her talking a little bit, but they were asking her questions and talking, and this stereotype of angry Black woman came out, and she was like, "Oh, this is old. This is the stereotype where they always, whenever a Black woman express herself or whatever, she talks about her, you know, she brings her ideas and everything. The tone she talks about, like the tone she talks, they always think, oh, this is an angry Black woman, you know." So anyways, you came up with that thing again. I never had it, like I never heard it before, but
oh, interesting.
There we go. So it's something that usually happens, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've been referred to it directly, like nobody's ever called me that, but you know, maybe behind my back, I don't know. But basically, I think the whole idea is that, you know, when a Black woman speaks with, this is just another way to kind of belittle or sort of, you know, I don't know, like on the totem pole, I guess Black women are at the very bottom. And so this is just another way to keep women, Black women specifically, at the bottom and from sort of expressing themselves.
Okay.
So basically, when a woman of color, let's say, speaks very passionately about a topic or is very sort of impassioned about an issue, it's really just dismissed as she's being angry, she's being belligerent. And that also, I think, in many ways relates to Black women being sort of masculinized or associated with, being too masculine. And so when she's expressing herself in that way, it's just like, oh, look at this woman sort of embodying masculine traits and coming on too forcefully, being too aggressive. Whereas, if a white woman or another sort of race might express himself in this way, it's coming off as, oh no, she's just very passionate about the subject, or, you guys said something to make her this angry. Like the blame isn't always for her, but when it's coming from a Black woman, it's suddenly like a way to dismiss her opinions, her thoughts, and like her way of expressing herself by saying she's exaggerating, she's being too masculine in her expression, and she's just angry. So have her cool down before we can listen to her. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, well,
unfortunately.
Anyways.
So, I mean, that kind of relates back, and I think it relates back to Kim's character, because at one point we have her sort of fighting and yelling and throwing things. And if a police person were to be called, for example, policeman or woman, police person is the right term. It might be chalked off as like, oh yeah, she's, let her sleep it off, she's just drunk. Whereas if they enter the house or whatever, and it's a Black woman acting this way, it might be a different reaction, where the police might feel scared of her and feel threatened by her and, call her an angry Black woman. So that's an example, let's say, in our sort of script of, I guess, white privilege, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to now to understand is, what's your idea with this document? What do you wanna write? Do you do we want to write white privilege and give examples of the script? Let's say, okay, in this film, we really want to showcase white privilege and how is displayed. For example, this Kim's, example in our script, Kim's, Kim's reaction to this and this and this and this. Is that how that's the style you want to go with, or? It's because we need to find a style, right? We need to see how we can link the white privilege to our script or to our story.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's in some ways kind of stated here already. I think the whole point of kind of having these discussions and having a document that pulls out some of the themes that we want to explore is to make sure that we are exploring them or bringing them into the story as we, making sure that we're tying it into the story as we progress, especially if the story starts to expand and take a life of its own. We always want to say, actually, when we first started, these are the issues that were important to us, and this is what we wanted to look at. And so for now, I don't really see, we don't have to do too much in terms of writing too much context or anything in this. It's really, as I've presented it, issue number one is race. Theme number one is race. There's a sub-theme of interracial relationships, and there's another sub-theme of white privilege. And how is this sort of displayed in the script? Well, we have Kim's character, at least initially in this 15-minute short, being the one who kind of provides an example of what white privilege could look like. And then when it comes to interracial relationships, we have the relationship between, I think, David and Nomi, and sort of how, that affects his decision. That's kind of the issue of race and interracial relationships comes out through there. So I think we've kind of already, with that concept, established it. So we know.
Yep. Yeah. But look at the second one. Is race necessarily an issue or a topic of a discussion when two or more people of different race interact? So, okay, was that a question that you wanted to discuss, or that's part of the document?
It's just part, it's kind of part of thinking, but I mean, I think it could also beg the question from the audience of, well, this is just a love triangle. It's about love. Why is race an issue? Do you know what I mean? Like, if he loves her, he loves her. Why does it matter? And why? And I think a lot of times Black people are accused of, maybe making everything about race. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Or like. Yeah. So in this aspect, it's just like, well, is it, I guess this was kind of just my thinking, wondering kind of like, well, when two people of different races interact, is it necessarily an issue of race and something that must be acknowledged and discussed, as in you're white and this is what's associated with whiteness, you're Black and this is what's associated with Blackness, some sort of acknowledgement of like the differences and like the privileges and like all the you know, stereotypes, negative or positive, that come with that race? Or is it beneficial sometimes to take, you know, race out of the question and focus on the issue at hand? I don't know. This is just a little bit of thinking that I was trying to do. I don't know if it's relevant that we answer it, but these are just points that we might, questions that might come up, not necessarily from us, but from people who are viewing or reading the script or thinking about the script.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, what are your...
I like how the white privilege came out. It's good. Like that right there. That's good for me. But I don't like the first point is good, but the second one, I'm like, why is that there? I don't think it's.
Yeah.
Maybe we could interracial relationship. I'll remove the second. You know, is race necessarily an issue? Blah 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 blah. For me, at least. Okay. Ordinary people is based on a concept of a love triangle, which isn't blah, 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 but does it necessarily become a complicated one? Which and why? Okay. I'm not interracial relationship. Can we link that to the script? Can we somewhere talk about Kim's? I don't know. Can we link just like you did with Kim's with white privilege for the interracial? Can we do something about that as well?
Okay.
Can we talk maybe? Can we talk about the reason why David and Naomi relationship never, like, I don't know.
In your opinion, was that, yeah, I mean, I guess I guess we have to, think back to say the fact that their relationship doesn't work out, was that related in any way to race? Or was it just between two people?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But definitely,
so, I mean, what is it? Was it, in your opinion?
It was race.
Where we're taking the script. Was it related to race? Is that why it was so difficult for them to get along and to, like, have a successful relationship? Or was it just two incompatible people or two people at different stages of life?
It was race, that's one, and it was family impacts. Like we were talking about, because it was race. Naomi was never loved by David's parents and David's friends or whatever. Okay, that's one. So that was one. And then Naomi also had her own problem with arranged marriage, right?
That's true, right?
So interracial relationship, we can kind of briefly talk about how it was an issue. It wasn't an issue with David, but really David family never liked, or Naomi was not welcome into David's family.
Right.
You know?
Right. So it wasn't an issue for the couple themselves. It was an issue for the people surrounding the couple.
Exactly. It
was an issue for the
sides. On both sides, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
One racial and one was more of I mean, even Naomi family could be racial, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be some kind of a racial, but really for them, it's more like a tradition, like a family tradition. You can put it as a racial, but really it's a tradition where they want their daughter to get married to someone who they know, or someone from, it's arranged marriage.
From the tribe or for the same country or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if in the second line of interracial, if we can just bring it up a little bit, you say ordinary people is based on the concept of blah, blah, blah. Maybe in that same paragraph, we can add something about the interracial, why, I guess, just a little bit, say like now, like in our story, Naomi was never loved by David's surrounding, because of our color. Yeah. And this is why the relationship, something like that.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So, I mean, just to note a note for ourselves is that the couple itself was quite a solid couple, and any gap that came between them was between their families who weren't accepting of the differences between.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And like in every relationships, even you guys love each other, but if you have bad influence and bad people surrounding you guys, at one point you're just gonna break up. Because if there's just something, let's say let's say we fight. And all of a sudden, yeah, you know what? My dad never loved you anyways. You always like that. You people are always like this. And you know what I mean?
Right.
It's out of anger, even if I loved, but it's out of anger and what my surrounding have been telling me. So everything just comes back. And all of a sudden, I just take it out on you. Then you're like, oh, what? Yeah, that's why your dad always talk about black people on the table. When we come to your house, she's always, you know what I mean? So you just, even if me and you, we're good, but if we have negative information coming in every day about the other person, it could affect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a nice segue into the second theme, don't you?
Yeah.
Because the second theme, we're talking about the impact of familial and societal expectations on personal decision making. And I think you just kind of referenced that a little bit where, you know, you might have an opinion on something, but depending on your surroundings or depending on sort of your influences, you might slowly start to stray away from those opinions. And so, for example, race isn't an issue for you, but then if your family keeps sort of like saying something about race to you, then eventually you might sort of start to see it as an issue as well. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So what did I say in this area?
I like what you said. I really like what you said. For that, for the second one, I like what you said. But the impact of familiar, can we put? You think arranged marriage will be in there too?
Yeah,
because it's on both way, right? I know you
Mhm.
talk more about David, but at the same time, we can talk about Naomi's side.
Yep, I think we can have a bullet point for that too, for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess the question here would be like, you know, what role does familial or societal expectations play in personal decision making, and is this a positive or negative influence? I don't know. In our instance, I think it was a negative influence, but is it always
negative influence?
Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah.
For Naomi, because she loved someone else, but the family wanted her to marry someone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so for David, I think it's good. Just add for Naomi's side where now Naomi's family were expecting her to marry someone they had chosen for, you know, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, I think this is something that, you know, a lot of people sort of struggle with, and I guess people find it hard to strike that balance between making decisions for yourself and then making decisions because, you know, there's things, I mean, you're not living in a bubble, you're not living in a silo, you're not by yourself, which would be nice if you were. If you just lived in your own little bubble, your own little society, then you can just do things according to what you like. But because you have to interact with people, then, you know, when you are making decisions for your own benefit, that sometimes it's necessary that you consider other people's opinions or what's expected of you, on what society thinks is the right thing to do. So I think that's really at the center of, I think, our story, because that's really what David is struggling with, is that, is that, you know, he knows what he wants personally and what would make him happy, but it's also, okay, well, am I selfish enough to take that decision for myself, or do I have to sometimes, you know, sacrifice and so that family's happy, so that society views it positively, right? So that's a really complex issue. Is that something that you see coming up at all, and like, you know, friends or stories that you hear, like that kind of, I don't know what you call it, like that kind of tension between sort of pleasing yourself and like also making sure that, you know, family's happy and then society also views you.
Yeah, a lot. Like it's always like that. I was like that too. I'll work and overtime and do a lot of things so that I can send money back home. You know, like especially diaspora, like people who have family back homes and stuff like that. You know, you sacrifice a lot because sometimes you want to buy something good for yourself, or you want to have a trip, but at the same time you're like, oh, I have my niece calling me asking for money for this and that. My nephew's there. You know what I mean? So it's the same concept. It's a different way, but yeah, it's something that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So at one point you have to say, you know what, I need to take care of myself. So it's not like I don't care, but you know, I've done more than enough. Now it's time for myself, for me to take care of me. So whenever there's a phone call or anything like that, you don't ignore it. I mean, you can ignore it if you want to, but you just being straight up and say, you know, I don't have any money. I don't have any, you know, I can't do it.
Yeah, like being able to say no.
Yeah, be able to say no, because sometimes we get caught up, right? Sometimes we get caught up, and and then it's hard to say no. Or if you say no, and then they have this perception of you, oh, he's always like that, he never say yes. You know what I mean? Like, people are always like that. People always have an expectation from you. Like, you own them. You don't own them. You just you can help, but if I can't. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's, I mean, that's the thing. I think that's maybe where the giving has to come from, where it's like, if you're sort of making a sacrifice for family, for society, it should be coming from a place, you know, from a conscious choice. Like, you're making this and you're happy to be doing it, rather than the opposite, where you feel sort of under pressure or obligated to do it. Because I think that's when it can be negative. Not to say you should be selfish. Obviously, you should always offer a helping hand or try and make sure there's peace around you and people around you are happy with what you're doing. You don't want to be too controversial. But at the same time, it has to be coming from a place within yourself that's honest, and not sort of feeling as if I can't make any moves that are for me, because then I'll be gossiped about, or these people won't like me anymore, whatever that
exactly
reason. So,
yeah
Interesting. Anyways, but I mean, it's it's something I think a lot of us have to deal with. So it's interesting that we're exploring it through David's character, and you know, it might even come out in sort of the other characters' experiences as well, because again, it's a universal experience. And so even for Kim, it could be that she's expected to marry somebody like David. You know what I mean? Whether she wants to or not.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And as we know from Naomi, she was, you know, she's expected to marry somebody that her parents have chosen, and she was able to say no, but she wasn't able to say no right away. She had to go home and she had to escape. So it was like a big story around that.
It was a big story. Exactly.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's interesting. Let's see.
And this topic will be more developed. Like, let's say we decide to make this a big series. You know, maybe we can even show Naomi getting married. We can show Naomi going back home and this ceremony, and you know, if it becomes a series, we have different angles we can go with this. You know, we can show the story based on David's point of view. We can show the story based on Naomi and based on Kim,
and even Matt.
Even Matt. We can explore. Okay, where did Kim come from? Maybe let's say Kim went back home to a trip. Then the whole season is Kim going back home, and then we see how she was raised. What kind of things she had to do? What kind of, you know? We can show that. And then in another season, we can show Naomi going back home. This time we send Naomi back home. We know. We go to the village. We show how she grew up. We see what's the culture. We explore that culture and everything. So there's a lot of way we can go with this. But like I said, these are really nice themes that we can explore at the end.
Yeah, and I think really the end of it is to show, at least for me, is that despite the differences that are kind of keeping these people apart, like I think there's a lot of tension where, you know, I can't choose this person or I can't be with this person. It's just like they all kind of have sort of similar internal struggles. Do you know what I mean? Like on the surface, it's like, oh, we're so different and we can't relate. One's rich and like, you know, benefits from white privilege. Another one is like a white man who owns a business, you know, but really inside everybody's sort of like, there's that tension that we all struggle with.
Exactly.
The same, you know?
Because, you know, Kim, she drinks, she's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
we can yeah, exactly. Why is she drinking? Was she abused when she was young? Was she you know, like you know, those rich people sometimes do crazy stuff. Rich people. I watched this movie where they I forgot the title of the movie. So it was this rich family, but there was this guy with his daughter. And this guy was a partner with another rich guy, very rich. So this partner was abusing the daughters of this guy. And this guy didn't do nothing because he didn't want to ruin
the professional
relationship and the money and everything that this guy was bringing.
Yeah.
You know, so he closed his eye. He knew what was going on because the guy he knew what was going on, but he didn't do nothing just so that he protect the business and the money and everything was coming.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always that aspect. There's always there's always something fishy.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the reason why Kim is drinking is because something happened to her when she was young.
Yeah.
And she never really, even if she was privileged, but it's just something that, you know, we can explore that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I think me and you both, but yeah, that's what I'm kind of interested in when it comes to like storytelling, is just like, yes, you know, you can judge somebody by how they're behaving on the outside, but I'm a little bit more interested in like, what are the internal motivations? Like, what's causing this behavior? Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, I'm interested in that. Like, I want to get under the skin and really look at what's happening. So yeah, that would be, I'm excited to, if we get the chance to really dig deep and uncover all of the worms that are, you know,
I know,
that are there.
We will. One day at a time.
One day at a time. Okay, so the last theme, okay, also once we're done with here, let me know if you think a theme is missing or anything like that. But the last theme is the one of friendship. And this one, I think we really want to focus on David and Matt's friendship. And so I had like 2 questions here about, you know, what is the nature of David and Matt's friendship, and can we classify them as, you know, frenemies? And you know, are these kind of friendships more common than we let on? Like, are there a lot of friendships that are, you know, friendships, but on the underlying there's maybe something else? And then I also know. And well, because anyways, go on.
I read the frenemies descriptions and I don't know, it doesn't fit.
Okay, you don't think they're frenemies?
No, I don't think they're frenemies.
Okay.
I don't think they're frenemies, but I don't, you know, it's just they're friends, but maybe Matt have control over David and Matt is manipulative, you know? So
what is the word for that?
I don't know, I couldn't find it. So they're really friends, but Matt, for some reason, he has a big influence over David.
Okay.
Let's say it like that. He has a big influence over David and he manipulates David to get his way. So I don't know if there's a word for that, but that's how I see it. Because when I'm reading frenemies, it's like, it's too much. It's not like that. He likes David. They're really friends. It's just that, you know, every friendship, there's always a guy who's always higher and the other guy is always like, you know, low, right?
Is that so? I don't know. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think so. There's always a guy who's very motivated. There's always a guy who's say, hey man, let's go do this, and the other guy is like, okay, let's do it. You know what I mean? There's always there's a follower and there's a leader.
Right. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that Matt is like a leader and David is like a follower in our situation.
Even though David is the one with the economic power.
Yeah,
because David hires Matt.
Economic power doesn't mean nothing.
Okay.
You know? You could have a good, it's economic. Okay, this is how I see it. It's the courage. It's the courage that you have. Maybe David has the economic power because he's parent to business and they're doing this and doing that. But maybe Matt is courageous. Matt has big balls. He's you know, he goes after it. Maybe he motivates David to do things. You know, because David is just running his dad's business. Maybe Matt is the engine behind it, dictating David what to do and how to run the business. You know, he has a lot of influence over David.
Okay, well, if we're sort of going with your line of thought, then if Matt loses influence over David because David now has somebody else who's influencing him, Naomi, will they still be as good friends? Now Matt has less influence because, you know, now he's going to be married or engaged, and obviously he's going to, you know, value his spouse or like his girlfriend's opinion. So now will Matt be just as friendly, just as happy to be David's friend if his influence decreases?
Sweetie, that's not in this 15 minutes. This is
This is a chapter of shit. I mean, yes or no? Yes or no?
These are the questions that viewers will have to ask. And these are the questions, like, you see, you act like a viewer. You want to know more, okay, what's going to happen to Matt now? You know, this is what we want.
Yeah.
This is what we want people to be asking themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll explore this after. It's not in this 15 minutes. In this 15 minutes, we just...
That's true. We can't explore all.
We can explore all. We're just laying the ground and everything. And then, there's a lot of way. Maybe Matt will be David's enemy now. maybe Matt will start combating David. Will try to see if he can kill him. Or I don't know. Maybe Matt will be this bad guy.
Murder. We're gonna bring murder into our little story now.
Well, maybe Matt will be homeless. I don't know. A lot of things could happen with Matt. You know.
It's true. Okay, but because it's just interesting concepts.
Yeah, because he lost his power. He lost his advantages. Now he's like, okay, I have no work and this and that. Or maybe Matt would want to do something bad to Naomi so that he can eliminate Naomi or take Naomi out of the picture.
Damn.
There's a lot of ways.
Yeah. He's not gonna go down easy.
He's not gonna go down easy. Exactly. So, anyways, it's just things. I'm just saying things, right?
No,
it's just ideas. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. So definitely, a theme of friendship is something that we want to look into, and I mean, how they are on the surface level. And again, like you said, you're probably right. I've never really considered friendships as, there always being somebody who's like the driving force and then somebody who kind of goes along. Like I have never thought of friendships in that way. And is it possible to have two friendships where people are both the driving force? Probably not. Like there's always that balance, right?
There's always a balance. There's always a balance. Like even I'm pretty sure you have friends where sometimes even if you don't agree with them, you just say, you know what, okay, whatever, let's just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or maybe it's the other friend. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's you when you come up with ideas. The other friend is like, I don't really like it, but you know what? You're gonna do it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? It always happen. Seriously, it always happen. So there's always a little balance there.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll explore that. I mean, we'll touch on the surface of that, with this short film. And I'm sure everybody has a friend, so everybody will be able to relate to how this all goes. Yes, high five. All right, cool. Let's wrap up, dude, because we've had where are we?
We had what?
Did we end the conversation properly?
No, we didn't end the conversation properly.
Shit.
So, all right, Adele. So I think this is it for this, for at least this season. I think we should wrap it up here.
Okay.
We should start the next season maybe in a month maybe. No, not in a month, maybe in 2 months, because we want to wait for the funding result to come in before we start casting. So next season we'll start with the casting. Hopefully with the casting we could showcase the candidates and their videos of demo reel stuff, something like that. I mean, we'll come up with the concept. But I think for at least the writing process of Ordinary People, we should wrap it here.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
Yeah, sounds good. I think we've done really well. 7 episodes of season 1. It's really fun. Thank you to everybody who's followed us so far. Stay tuned, like Trésor said, for season 2, which is coming up in 2 months. Well, we'll let you know when it's coming up. But yeah. Okay.
It's been a really good experience. I love it. I think we started something good. Not a lot of views yet, but we'll get there one of these days. Right.
This is what I call evergreen content that you put out that, it's always available and at any point in time is relevant. And so 2 years from now, you can suddenly get people interested in that same content. It doesn't go out of style. So
exactly.
I don't think we should worry too much about views now. There's we're working on longer term projects and longer term things. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Perfect. Cool.
All right.
So I guess we'll keep working offline and then we'll come back to these people within the 2-month periods.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys. It was nice. So Adele, we'll talk later, I guess.
I guess.
All right. Nice talking.